our anthropology is not derived by human psychology or, empirical data from MIT or something like this. It's derived from the revealed aspect of what we see in Christology. And so there's no real way to diagnose man's problem and to understand man and man's anthropology, as I said, without the right theology. Your friendly Mexican. I'm gonna boot that Catholic. I'm gonna block that Catholic if he doesn't come. Yep.
I have a question according to the first topic you put in mind, iconoclasm.
Sure.
And it's according to 2 Kings chapter 8 verse 4, where King Hezekiah destroys a bronze serpent. So that's my question.
Yeah, but what does it say? It says that the Israelites had begun to worship him as Nehushtan. Nehushtan is a serpent deity. So it was God who told them to make the image. And that's why in John 3, Jesus likens himself to the serpent lifted up on a pole, because the serpent was the curse, right? And so the symbology there is that Jesus will be lifted up. He'll be the one that's cursed on the pole, aka the cross. But it's not destroyed by the king because it's inherently evil. It's destroyed because the Israelites were worshiping it as Nehushtan.
I see, but that raises the question, like, if an Orthodox church starts doing like a heresy, like starts worshiping the icons, wouldn't that give the same like justification as King Hezekiah did to destroy?
Well, we've already been through this whole crisis in the 7th century. We don't worship the icons.
Yeah, I know you don't, but if
I don't even see how that would be possible in Orthodoxy for somebody to.
But they could be rogue people, right? They could be rogue.
I don't think so.
Preach.
I really don't even think it's.
Well, they wouldn't be Orthodox anymore if they went rogue like that.
It would just be so weird. Like, how would that even work?
If people go rogue, by definition, they're no longer Orthodox. That would be like a schism.
Yeah, but like how you said about how the bronze serpent was worshipped, if that happens, like for example, in Catholicism, they start worshiping Mary, wouldn't that be justification to destroy the icons or the?
Well, again, to be clear here, neither Orthodox nor Roman Catholics actually worship Mary. That's not true. So that's a Protestant misunderstanding.
I see. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
And it would certainly, because let's say there was some weirdo that actually started thinking the wood and paint was a god, and elevated above God himself and started worshiping it. Doesn't it seem silly that then the Orthodox would have to get rid of all the iconography, which actually teaches us about correct theology. So Jay and I've talked about this before. There is no correct theology apart from the theology of the icon. You can't understand correct Christology, any of it. So it'd be silly to, even if you had a weirdo who actually thought a piece of wood was God, that's like, well, we might as well throw out the Bible because burn all the Bibles because we've had people who became Bible idolaters or something. It's just absurd.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the theology of the icon comes out of Scripture. I mean, it's not like something that was invented by, idolaters who infiltrated the church. It comes out of the notion of the Son being the image of the Father.
I see.
Go
do you mind? I had another question concerning the FILIOQUE, if that's okay.
Just 1 second, because I'm pulling up these texts.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
So, if you look here, for example, at the text in, say, Colossians 1:15, you'll note that it says that Jesus is the icon of the Father. Image, icon. So, Jesus is the image of the Father, and in fact, we would say he's the only legitimate image of the Father. So a lot of times Protestants have or even Muslims have this idea that, oh, you violated the Ten Commandments or you violated the principle of imagery because you have this notion of image and therefore it's an image of God, therefore it's false. Well, we retain the notion that there is no image of the Father except the Son. Literally the Son is the only legitimate image of the Father. There are some places where people have tried to make icons of God the Father, and that's actually heterodox. You're not supposed to do that. Some people do that, which is unfortunate, but
what about the icons of the saints in there?
But there's nothing wrong with an icon of a saint. It's the same principle of the icon, that Christ is the icon of the Father. So the saints share in the divine life of Christ. So they're deified by Christ.
I see.
But I'm just pointing out that the theology of the icon comes out of the notion of, for example, Hebrews 1. The Son is the express image of the Father's hypostasis in Hebrews 1.
So it goes by the Bible, because a lot of Protestants claim to say that it's unbiblical, but you're citing biblical evidence to support the notion of the theology of the icons.
The Son is the icon of the Father's hypostasis, correct?
Okay.
Therefore, imagery is not inherently bad or wrong. In fact, the temple was full of images. The Jews were told by Moses
the cherubims, right?
Yeah, well, and not just the cherubim, there's other images in there too, and that's why if you go to like 1st century Judaism, 2nd century Judaism, you can look up the Dura Europos synagogue, and you'll notice that it has images all over the walls, and that's because the pattern of worship in the Orthodox churches comes out of the temple and synagogue liturgy.
I see. Thank you.
What was your question?
Oh yeah, it was concerning the FILIOQUE. Like I saw the debate with you and Muslim Lantern on how he was discussing, how you were discussing that there were debates about the Trinity, how we were able to finalize the concept of the Trinity. And so my question is, why is incorrect for the Catholics to still keep evolving that concept of the Trinity, including the FILIOQUE, or when or
it's not an evolving. There is no evolving of theology. There's explication of what's already there, but we don't even believe icons are an evolving of theology. Evolving of theology is where you get to where Francis is. Francis is postmodern theology, Pope Francis. There's no evolving theology. That's a Roman Catholic theory from Cardinal Newman.
But if we compare Tertullian's Trinity and other concepts of the Trinity from other church fathers...
Hold on, I can't hear you. What'd you say?
If you compare like the Tertullian's concept of the Trinity,
yeah, we don't follow Tertullian. Why would we follow? Tertullian's a heretic. Why would we follow Tertullian?
But he was one that coined the idea. No?
So in the Orthodox Church, and even supposed to be in the Roman Catholic Church, the Trinity is defined by the ecumenical councils. The Second Ecumenical Council defined the Trinity according to the Cappadocians. So Tertullian has nothing to do with this.
Okay, but they argued in the council to figure out, like, when did we know that it was finalized? How sure can we be?
Because it's the Second Ecumenical Council that both the East and the West accept as the council that defines the Trinity. And they literally say you have to follow the Cappadocian view.
Then why did they decide to then in the Eighth Council go with the FILIOQUE and just...
Because they're heretics. That's why we're not Roman Catholic. What do you mean? We're Orthodox, not Roman Catholics. That's the Roman Catholic view.
What like issues does the FILIOQUE like in turn...
It creates a dyad because the principal source and starting point for Trinitarian theology is the person of the Father. It's not the divine essence. So there's one God because there's one Father. It's called monarchical Trinitarianism. It's the teaching of the Cappadocians. It's the one that's what's accepted at the Second Ecumenical Council.
So Eastern Orthodox maintain the monarchical Trinitarianism concept, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yes, and we believe that FILIOQUE violates that by giving the hypostatic property of the Father to the Son.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's the essence of the whole thing, right there. Yeah, so the Father is cause, and the Son cannot be cause, because that's the unique property that picks out the person of the Father.